on that. Dirt, 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 I'm all about that. Dirt, 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 I'm throwing. Dirt, 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 I miss that. Dirt, 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 gotta get back to I'm a dirt trackaholic, call it what you call it. Saturday night, I am so Kenny Wallace on that. Dirt, 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 I miss that. Dirt, 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 gotta get back to it. I've been the Kenny Wallace of the rap game ever since I hit him with that dirt track thing. Now nationwide, everybody knows my name. They're like, mama, that's Kenny Montgomery. He sings that song we like. Yeah, boy, that's me. Roll out the trailer, I'm flossing. Them Hoosier tires glossing. Them cold kind we're tossing. They know I came to wreck it, yet I rarely bring out a caution. I hit the high side, boy, I park it for Brian Clausen.
Welcome to Throttled Up the Podcast. Often imitated, never duplicated. Your weekly home for the best in motorsports coverage.
Even your grandpa talking about, man, that boy too cold. We don't sit on 24s, we don't ride on spinners. I'm posted up on them 15s with platinum dirt defenders. Got kids up in my...
Welcome back to Throttled Up the Podcast, and we are live and in studio tonight, and got a special guest in studio here with us, Matt, that we'll kind of tell the story about the first time that we had the chance to sit down with him.
Well, we never sat down.
That's true. That's very, very true. Very good point. But first, I want to jump off right here and rewind to last weekend, because you are officially halfway to 100.
Yes. Yeah.
The big 5-0 on Saturday night.
I was presented my big happy 50th birthday banner. You know, I went down, did the Fast Time Award there, and they gave me the banner. And I start back up the grandstands, go back to the tower, and the guy stops me. Which we talk, like every time I go up and down the grandstands, and he says, hey, you're 50 now, you get your AARP card. And I laughed. I said, I actually got it in the mail this morning. So, yeah.
Hell, they might as well just start digging a hole right now.
But yeah, I am 50 now, man.
Well, and happy belated birthday. I hate that I couldn't be there on Saturday night. I was over at the Berg shooting the Merle Downey
I
Memorial.
have to kind of say I'm, in a roundabout way, glad you weren't there, because the friendship you and I have, we don't pull punches with each other. And
I was going to get a hold of the microphone.
I knew you would have. And actually, on our way over, I was thinking, I thought, you know what? I got the cordless, but that wireless is laying up here, and if Dustin gets there, there'll be all kinds of things said.
Oh, yeah.
Because I would do that to you.
100%.
And
you did the weekend before when Ryan was presenting the award. I got
Yes.
slammed and I wasn't even on the track. So
No, I just said if you wanted a picture with Ryan Bowling, to go buy a late model.
and then said the other option was me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, happy belated birthday, brother. And, we definitely wanted to wish you that. And I know you're a banner guy, so you got a pretty cool one to hang up.
Oh,
now.
you did a fabulous job designing that. It's already hung up in the garage, so, it's
A little Americana feel, and try to give you something.
the
a little
old
bit.
school logos. You did a great job, man.
Yeah, tried to doctor it up for you. But speaking of old school too, and I also didn't make the Scottsburg race, but I want to ask you your opinion on this, because I heard we went back a little bit old school at Scottsburg too with our restarts, and went flagman. The flagman starts the race.
It wasn't even it was all the starts, because I guess there's not an orange cone in Scottsburg.
Anywhere.
We couldn't find an orange cone, so
That's amazing, because they have road construction down there as well.
the driver's meeting was, Rob says, when I see you guys and you guys look good side by side lined up, I'm going to throw the green so you guys can't start till I throw. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wish we would just start doing that, because the starts were fabulous. I mean, the guys was side by side lined up. No one was going to jump because they didn't know when Rob was going to throw the green flag. And I think it was good.
Well, that's interesting. I had heard that, and obviously I was down at Salem for the firecracker, and but interested. Tyler, I'm going to ask you, what do you think about the flagman starting the race?
I mean, that totally takes the aspect of the lead. I mean, I mean, it just depends.
If you're on the pole, you want
Yeah.
that cone, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you want that cone, but I mean, I guess on the double Delaware start, it kind of gives the advantage to the second place car. I mean, because I don't know. That's shit.
Do you like how we do the Delaware double file restarts now, where leader fires in where they want to in 3 and
Yeah.
4? Do you?
Yeah,
I think it's smoother.
yeah, yeah. I like how they done that. I mean, you can pass when the leader goes.
Yeah.
There's no.
Now, my personal opinion, I don't think we should have a second cone. I think
No.
as soon as somebody hammers on that loud pedal, let's go racing. I don't think you should have to. And which I know NASCAR, they got it. You can't pass on the outside. You go past the start finish line, all that stupid
I think
stuff.
as soon as the race has started, the race has started.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you can get an advantage outside,
Yeah.
inside, over the top, take it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're leading that race, you got there for a reason, and you should have a slight advantage. So,
I agree.
I think that's why I wanted to throw it out there and ask the perspective.
Since
so.
we're already in the debate,
Okay, let's get it.
our guest tonight is Tyler Cain. Like, we skipped that part.
Well, I know. I wanted to give you some love for your birthday, but yeah. Why don't we give the introduction and then
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
jump right in.
P3 Graphix Indiana Pro Late Model driver, Tyler Cain. Previous super stock driver. Pretty much dominated that class for years. But,
Previous mini stock driver too. We
Yeah.
talked about that
Yes,
before
yeah.
we got on there.
I actually forgot about that. But yeah, I remember that now.
So, but for those that we were
And
laughing,
for those that don't know, mini stocks preceded the Hornets.
yeah,
yeah,
we were laughing before we went on air because this is Tyler returning to the show. The
Yes.
previous time we interviewed him and his wife, and we had this great idea that we were going to interview at the fairgrounds at Brownstown Speedway, right in front of the double car, and make it this huge event. Little did we know that the truck and tractor pulls were going on that night.
Yeah.
So we would ask a question, we would listen to a minute of a truck or a tractor go, and then Tyler or Kerry could answer.
Yes. It was a great idea.
It was, in theory, it all seemed like it was going to
Yeah.
work.
You guys gave a lot of T-shirts away that night, though.
Yeah.
So
But we're glad, Tyler, to have you back and in studio with a little less noise tonight. But Tyler, I do want to jump in. We talk about that. You starting in your mini stock, and obviously the unbelievable amount of success you had in your super stock, and now getting into the late models. But looking back, what made you take that jump from, being a fan of racing to I want to sit in the seat and I want to do this?
my mother. My dad grew up racing. My uncles, we all grew up around it. My dad, both my uncles, they grew up go-kart racing. One of my uncles ran a TQ for a while, and then two of my uncles went to they got hooked up with Frank Kimmel, and were pit crew guys for Frank for a long time. And I mean, I remember when I was 7 or 8, I wanted to race go-kart so bad, and my mom wouldn't let me. She told me no. And she said when I got 11 or 12 years old, she'd think about it. So 13 came around, and I got a mini stock.
with Mom's blessing.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. But yeah, I've been around it a long time, and I've always wanted to race. I've went to all kinds of races with my dad and my uncles, and mostly asphalt stuff. But my cousin Jeff Walters, he was running a street stock at the time, and yeah, I knew I when I first came to Brownstown, I was, I don't know, 10, 11. I want to do this.
And I got to say this, Sunday, like I said, I was at Big Salem, for the Firecracker 150, and you talk about your uncles working for Frank. Frank was back in the house and drove the Roger Williams number 32 and ended up in a wreck towards the end of the night. But you talk about a guy that hasn't lost it at all.
Mm-mm.
That dude, he made some moves. He made some, we talk about some of these drivers as they get older and maybe the itch in there is bad or the hunger. Oh, Frank was back on top of it. He was wheeling that thing, and there was no letting off.
Yeah, but look how many laps he's got around that racetrack.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't know he was racing. I seen a post on Facebook, and I said, "Ooh, that's going to be interesting."
Well, and the story behind it was Frankie was scheduled to run the car, but Frankie just recently moved up and is Daniel Suarez's spotter. So he's actually working for Suarez, and that meant he couldn't be at the race on Sunday because of NASCAR obligations. So Frank said, all right, I'll jump in and do it. You really had to twist Frank's arm to get him in the car.
Does Frankie get full salary? Because, I mean, he only spots like half the race.
Ooh. I don't know that answer.
How'd Suarez do?
I don't know. I would have thought if he was going to do halfway decent, it'd been this weekend because it was a road course. But
Okay, I'll give him benefit of the doubt on a road course.
so I
I actually think he had problems. I think something happened with the car, actually.
I don't know. I'm afraid to look. Let's see.
That was mean. I take that back. For that one Suarez fan out there listening.
You really don't.
My dad likes the underdogs, and he's been talking about Suarez a lot here lately.
He started 11th and finished 36th.
Oh, man, bad day.
Not his best day at all.
Your dad needs to root for old fast pasta there, man. Oh, Anthony Alfredo.
He's been. Who's the other one? I like that Matthew Danabetta.
Oh, yeah. I
D.
love him.
Benedetto?
De Benedetto.
Matty D.
Yeah.
I do too.
He needs a good car.
Yes. That's all he needs. I like that Ross Chastain, too.
Yeah.
That the old watermelon boy down there.
So yeah, but to bring all that back around. So obviously you.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It all tied together. There was a flow there for anyone listening, but so obviously you're around asphalt. So what was it? Obviously, you talk about your cousin Jeff. You know, being at Brownstown on dirt. What was it that you said? Nah, dirt's the place.
I don't know. When I saw it, I'm like, man, they're really. And that was back in the days, you know, Rayburn race car, you know, packing the left front around. Man, that's cool. I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Donnie O'Neill and Jim Curry and Dan Sturgeon. I mean, that was I remember the first race I went to. Don O'Neill won, and I said, man, that's what I like that.
Oh, Dan had some of the prettiest race cars ever at
Yep.
the racetrack, I think,
Yep.
man.
Doug McCammon,
Yeah.
Doug Alt. Yeah,
I remember those days.
yeah.
You know, and those, you know, you talk about those legends of it, and you know, talking about you being in the Indiana Late Model Series. I've said this on here before, but not having that O'Neill factor, whether it's Marty
No.
or Don being around and even running the Super, it does feel weird at Brownstown Speedway to not have
the
that.
O'Neill factor is still there. He just goes by Neil.
No.
Well, fair enough. But
We're still racing.
You're still racing. Yeah. The O'Neill factor is still there.
well, I'm just meaning the drivers
Yeah.
being there. But
Yeah.
But no, absolutely. So to jump ahead, though, Tyler, as you got into the crate series, we talked about earlier, you went in the points there at the Indiana Late Model Series, and was that 17 or 18?
Yeah, I think it was 17.
17. Where have you seen your growth there in your crate program?
You know, it was going pretty good there for a while. I think in 17, I think I won 4 or 5 races, and we was winning at some different tracks. I won at Brownstown. I thought it was going pretty good. I think it was the end of 17. I sold that. No, it may have been 18. I sold that car, and we bought a brand new one. And I really thought we was going to come out swinging. And my growth kind of hit a bump in the road, curveball, and I don't know what's happened, but it was going really good. You know, there's so much to learn. I mean, stuff changes weekly, and people are finding new stuff out. And I really hit a bump in the road last year, and it's really slowed things down. I took some time off, trying to figure stuff out, but we're going again, and I've just got to get caught back up with everybody. It's just you got to keep racing. I mean, 'cause it changes so much, and there's a lot there. I mean, just so much.
What year was it you won about everywhere we went, though? You won Bloomington, Terre Haute,
Yeah.
Brownstown. I mean, you everywhere we traveled to, you was putting in victory lane.
Yeah. There for a while. Yeah. Bloomington, I think I won.
I think you won both races that
yeah,
year.
Yeah. I remember the one race, caution come out with a lap to go, and Hudson snuck around me and spoiled that. And, yeah, Terre Haute, I won both races.
Yeah.
So. But now I go back there, I'm getting my butt kicked there now.
How difficult, we were talking a little bit off air before we came on about how racing has changed and the technology that's in it, but how difficult is it to make a change in a car, go to a new car, go to a different chassis, and really figure out and start from ground zero, like how you get it to fit you?
Yeah, that's every time you go back, I talk to Rocket and everything. They're always pushing new technology, and this is better than what you got. So you need to try this, and you get it. I'm like, I like my old stuff better, but this is what they're saying. But yeah, it's every week you talk to them, hey, we got this going, this is going, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I've tried to be a little more simple and keep working on something with I know what I got, but it's hard to say, this guy's doing this and he's winning with it. So I've tried. I don't know. There's just so much.
And I'm going to ask you this from more of a personal note, I guess. Having the success that you had in the street or in the super stocks, and then moving into the crates and the success you had early, how difficult is it on you? Your confidence wise, your mentality. You put out some serious cash to buy this new car. To then get it and struggle. How difficult is that?
Well, there at the end of the street stocks, I won 19 races in 14 and like 23 and 15. That was a lot. When I went to the track, I knew I had a shot at winning every time I pulled out there, and it got to the point second and third wasn't acceptable to me. I mean, I was getting upset, and I told Dad, I said, that's not right. I should be happy with that, but I wanted to win every time I rolled out there. I said, I want to do the late model thing. I said, it's time to move up. I've done everything that I could do in the street stock. So we got the crate thing, and my first year I won a race at Bloomington. I said, heck, man, this is great. I bought a rocket car off Terry Phillips, and he helped me out for a while and got me rolling pretty good. And I think there was a lot of new technology heading out. Black Diamond was really getting rolling, and we sold that car over the winter, and that next year the XR1s really got rolling. So I already had a rocket, so we went ahead and went that route. And I think we came out and rattled off 4 or 5 races that I won, and so I felt good, and I was happy with that. But then the next year I wanted more, and it didn't happen, and it gets you down in confidence wise, because I feel like I'm a good driver, I feel like, but yeah, if the car's not there, it really beats you in the dirt. I mean, like we was talking earlier, I mean, just some of the stuff, a lot of it's your equipment and your setup. You can be the best driver in the world. Put Kyle Larson in my crap last year, he's not winning no races. But it really it takes a mental toll on you if you go out there and you don't feel like you're performing like what you need to.
The other side I want to ask about that is, do you catch yourself over driving or trying to change your driving style because you're not getting it set up the way you wanted? So are you kind of chasing both ends in a way because, all right, this car is not as good as I need it to be, so now I'm gonna try and make it better on the track?
Absolutely. That's like when I come from the street stock world. You're keeping that thing straight under you. In the late models, you got to get that thing, you got to get it bent to make it work. There at the beginning of my career in the late models, I did question how I was driving the car, but all in all, there's a feel that you look for, and same in any race car. It's that feel you got to look for. But there for a while, I was like, man, I don't. There's been times I have overdrove the car, and that's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, if you've won some races, you know what you need.
Did you totally change your driving style from the super stock to the late model, or did you try to change the car to you?
I knew I had to change my style because, you can't keep them cars. They're not meant to, like the street stocks. You gotta keep them things straight. But the late models, they're down on the right front. You gotta get them yawed out, and so there was some learning curve there that I have to do, and sometimes I still catch myself doing that.
So then to kind of go ahead to this year, obviously you've had, when I asked you right when you come in, how you feel about the car, and you said it's been up and down. Kind of take us through that. How you feel like this year has gone for you so far?
It started out. Oh, we got some help over the winter. It started out pretty decent. We rattled off some top 5s and top 3 finishes right off the bat. I felt pretty good about it. It's about a month ago. I won a feature over at Twin Cities, so I was like, we're heading in the right direction. I think I went to Brownstown the next weekend and ran like 5th or 6th. I said, well, hell, shit, that wasn't no good. And the exact same thing I ran at Vernon, I brought to Brownstown, and I was like, well, that's no good. So we had to go back to the drawing board a little bit, and I've been good early, won the heat races. I've started up towards the front, faded back, but I feel like we're gaining some momentum. I'm struggling in the features. When it blows off, I've been struggling, but this past weekend, I feel like we've made some hay.
I was going to say, you raced with the super late models last Saturday, and I mean, all 7 of you guys that showed up and tried with it, you guys all competed very well.
Yeah.
I mean, did that build your confidence racing with the supers like that?
Yeah, it did. I had to pull off about 10 laps in. We had a fuel issue, and it got the motor hot, and it was going to be interesting because, there for a while, it took forever to get that daggone race started.
Yeah.
But once we got going there, Peden got out in front of me there on one of them starts, and I felt like I was keeping speed with him, and so it was going to be interesting. I really didn't want to pull off, but I didn't want to blow a motor up either. So.
Right. I was very impressed with all 7 of you guys that showed up with that. Because I thought, it came, race time, the track started slicking off. I don't think it slicked off as much as you guys would. I think if it had slicked off more, you guys would have really been competitive with the supers. But I was very impressed.
And how much does it help to be able to jump into a show like that, a super show, and be able, pressure's off, to try some things and throw some things out there, because if you're way off, you miss, whatever.
No, that's the only reason we went there for, to get our crate program better. We was wanting to run good, but there was really no pressure. We went there to do one thing, and it was to get better. And I feel like that when we went out there for the heat race, and totally sucked, but that's what we wanted to do. We tried something, didn't work, and came back for the feature, and it was a lot better.
So looking ahead here to the second half of the season, what's the goals going forward? Because I know you're not really, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not really chasing points anywhere. No. You're doing what I think every driver dreams of doing, is you jump in where you want to and get to race where you want.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been skipped around. I've been to Florence a time, and then I've been running over at Twin Cities a little bit. I know I'm leading the points over there, but I'm not set out to do that. I've just kind of I've been hitting around where I think I've got my best shot to win a race. And because there at the beginning of the year, Shelby and Tyler and Steve's have been really tough at Brownstown, and there at the point in time, my car's wasn't good enough to compete with them. But I feel like now, what we've learned this past week, I think I've got a shot now to compete with them guys. So I'm hoping to rattle off a couple victories at Brownstown. There's a couple big races coming up at Vernon, and I really got my eye on that, and that's what I'm hoping to. We're all chasing the jingle,
No,
that's
right
what
on.
we want.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready because you have been my dark horse pick at almost every crate race we've ran this year when we've had the pre-race show. Because if you're there, I know even Ryan and I, when we went to Terre Haute, we were talking, and I'm like, if Tyler Cain gets a shot, this could be it. And so I'm excited to see that. When you talk about that ability to kind of bounce around a little bit, and coming in, that crate class at Brownstown is one of the toughest classes you're going to find anywhere. When you start talking about Peden and Neal and Shelby Miles and Raymond Humphrey, and you can go down the list of 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that can win.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still that tough for you to swallow those top fives anyway, even with that kind of competition?
It's like last year, I was just hanging around 5th, 6th, 7th place. I said, 5th, 6th, 7th place wouldn't be bad if I was up there in contention and in the mix every week. If it was a battle up front with all these good cars, it wouldn't be that hard to swallow. We want to win, and I don't like running second or third, but the way it is right now, I mean, I think when was it? I think it was 2 weeks ago. We had a restart there for a little bit, and I think Peden was running 4th or 5th time on that restart, and he went all the way to second. I think he ran second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's that close. I mean, one restart, one move can take you to the hen house or to that house.
All right, we gotta pause here for just a second because you really need to give out a shout out to your crew chief and a little lady that's watching at home. So we got a message that she is so excited to be watching Daddy on TV. So I want to make sure we don't miss this. So give her a shout out.
She got to stay up way past her bedtime to watch this. But I got to thank my wife Carrie and we call her Okie, but Oakland. Yeah, she got to stay up late to watch this. But my other little girl, she's probably passed out sawing logs right now.
So I wanted to make sure we got that shout out in there because it popped up, and I like I said,
she grabs wrenches and she helps Daddy wash today. I got cleaner. I clean with the car. I put in a squirt bottle, pump jug, and I normally buy it by the 5 gallon, and I'll fill that thing up every time. And she has figured out how to pump that sucker, and she'll burn through 5 gallons in one wash. When normally I could get about 4 or 5 out of it.
He's got the cleanest race car at the track.
Yeah.
So, Carrie did say she is now smiling ear to ear, so that's awesome. But like, I do want to ask that too, because we talk about family and keeping this racing thing going, and how cool is it for you to see, your daughters love racing the way they do?
Yeah, see, it was a little bit. I wanted a boy so bad, but I've been blessed with 2 little girls, and it's my wife raced, and she had some success, and but having these little girls around, I love them to death, and seeing them love it and want to be around it as much as I do, and it really makes me happy. I mean, they were there not this past weekend, but last weekend, and there was Crown Vic parked right next to us, and she said, "Daddy, when I get bigger, I race that." I said, "I mean, if you want to, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not gonna make you do it, but if that's what you want, you know."
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
When she turns 11,
Yeah.
what's your answer going to be?
Yeah, I mean, sure. If that's what you want, yeah, I'll support you, but you better be prepared to get some butt rippings.
There's going to be expectation.
Yeah.
We don't finish
Yeah.
second,
No,
third, and fourth.
no.
And I will say that Crown Vic class is a really cool class to watch some of these young people get a chance. And I could give a shout out here, for those who haven't seen it yet, but Bill Nicely, promoter at Salem Speedway, they ran the big track on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Crown Vics got on the big track amazingly, and I understand in the racing world this a lot of time, but they were running lap times only 2 seconds off of the street stocks over there. And the racing that they put on was unbelievable. They're all, tight. They could run every line at Salem. They were up, down, passing. I don't even know how many passes for the lead happened, but one of the most exciting classes I've seen over there is that Crown Vic class. And it cracks me up. These guys go from the little track inside oval racing to figure eight to run the big track.
Yeah.
They ran 3 races that night and couldn't get enough of it. So really, really cool. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, go over to Dirt to Media's Facebook page and watch the highlights there from the Crown Vic race on the big track at Salem. But
I'm going to say, if you're thinking about getting into racing, that has to be the class. As long as they keep the reins on it and don't let it become the new version of the Bombers. I mean, they have to keep it absolutely locked down, because I think that's going to be the only way we can get the other classes to stay alive, is keep something as super cheap as you can in racing. That way they can expand onto something else.
absolutely. And that's why I was kind of laughing on Sunday. We were talking because the little track and the big track both paid $750 to win for the Crown Vics, which, they're used to racing for $1,500.
Yeah.
And Bill Nicely, the owner and promoter there at Salem Speedway, came in the booth when we were up there working, and he said, "Man, these guys are just nuts." I said, "Well, if they can win both these races, that's half the race program."
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can build a good Crown Vic for $3,000-4,000. I said, they win $1,500 today.
Yeah.
They're well on their way to another race car.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I know when we traded all ours in for Chargers, we didn't get anything for trade-in, so they ought to be selling them super cheap, man.
if you can find them. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah.
The secondary market of those now, with the way this has exploded around here, is nuts.
We got rid of our last Crown Vic 3 years ago, and I wish I would have known this was going to explode, because
Yeah, we'd have bought every one
I
of
would probably would have came to you and said, "Let's just buy all
them.
these."
we'd
Because
have them sitting out here back behind the barn.
the trade-in value was, they gave us nothing for them, when we got rid of them to go to the Charger.
Yeah, I mean, you remember they have county auctions, and then they'd go for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Grandma's driving a police car around town.
Absolutely. So I want to ask this too. It's something we ask a lot of people, Tyler, but we talk about, you've ran a lot at Vernon, Florence, Brownstown. What's a track you've never ran out in all your time racing and traveling that you would love to get a chance to go race at?
I like the big tracks. I seem to do better at the big tracks. I like Knoxville. I really like to go there one time. A small joint, man, I don't even know. I don't know. Knoxville, that's number 1 on my list, I think.
Knoxville would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be.
I like the bigger tracks because it's a lot of momentum, a lot of speed.
I'm really surprised it wasn't the Token Eldora there.
Yeah. But did you ever run your street stock at Eldora?
No, I've never been to Eldora.
Okay. Well, I can live with. I like Knoxville.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Do you think, you just talked about big tracks and needing that momentum and keeping in rhythm, especially in these crate cars. Do you think that is one thing that kind of neutralizes the technology and brings the driver percentage back a little bit? Because you do got to keep that momentum. You can't be making mistakes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have that car just free enough to where it's going to go around there and stick perfectly, I mean, a big motor can solve a lot of problems sometimes on a track. When it gets heavy, you can power out of stuff, but Yeah, that's what makes the crate class real interesting, because you got to have the car free enough, tight enough where it'll go around there and you're not scrubbing speed.
If you could change one thing in the crates, what would it be? Like that you would think would better the program, the entire program?
I really wish we could. No, there'd be two things, but
Well,
Let's go through all of them.
Let's go with two. Yeah.
the tire rule. Everybody needs. I mean, the Crate Racing USA, Rush, UMP. We're all on different tires, and I'm I race on a budget. I can't have 3 different sets of tires to go racing. Same way with the shocks. UMP, they're the only ones. UMP and Rush, they got a shock rule. I mean, I can't go run with them guys. Same way, I like what Rush does. They one fuel, that's it. You got to buy their fuel, and that's it. If they could limit some of that stuff down, and I mean, I just think all the crate cars should be under one set of rules. It shouldn't be scattered across the board.
And, I agree with that.
I do too.
Was it you, Matt, that was telling me, or somebody else, about that even Lucas Oil is looking at sitting down and talking with World of Outlaws?
They already have,
and making sure that things are consistent across there.
The dream was like the start of that.
Mhm.
UMP, World of Outlaws, and Lucas Oil, let's get it where we open up one rule book, and then that way, if World of Outlaws isn't running one weekend, their drivers can go over and run with Lucas Oil, or Lucas Oil can go run with them and not change up everything on the car.
And to your point, if we're doing that with super late model teams and don't get me wrong, there are hard working super late model teams that are on a budget too, but there's some teams in there with unlimited funds as well. If we're trying to do that for them, we 100% should be doing it for our local crate guys who are working Monday through Friday to go race on Saturday.
I think some of that though is probably going to get me in trouble, but it's greediness from some promoters that think if I have my own set of rules, I'll have my own set of drivers.
Mhm.
I don't have to compete with Rush, or I don't have to compete with this. They'll buy the stuff to race with me, and then I have them.
And I agree with that 110%, and I think that it's so short-sighted by promoters because, yes, you may be able to lock in 15 or 20 guys that are going to race at your track every week, but you're always only going to have 15 or 20 guys.
Mhm.
If you want to start running shows that are going to be 30, 40, 50, crates there, you've got to make it to where guys can travel and come. And again, I think if I have one thing talking about dirt racing in general that I think we have to work to get back to, it is not running 5 classes a night.
Yes.
And I understand from a promoter standpoint, and they're all probably yelling right now if they're watching, you got to have the car count to do it. But, just like I said, over there, again, $10,000 to win modified race at Lawrenceburg. I know that's not normal. 78 mods, 22 super late models, 100 cars, 2 classes.
But like I said before we went on air, modifieds run under one set of rules. They're UMP modified. No matter where you unload, it's a UMP rule.
And that's where I think we got to get across the board, because then you can get car counts like that. And I'm not saying it's going to happen everywhere. There's a lot of factors in the guys wanting to come and run, but I agree with you. I think some promoters try and lock guys in, but once you lock them in, you lock everybody else out too.
And then there's shortages, right? Is there a tire shortage with the late models right now?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I talked to Derek Clegg Saturday night, and he says he can't find a tire.
No, it's all across the board. The mod tires. I think there's a shortage of 27.5s, the M60s and the M30s. I mean, you can't get any.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt a lot of guys too.
Yeah, and the more and more that guys can't get, those kind of things, the worry that I have with that is, what does it start opening the door to even get farther away from what you're saying?
Yeah.
Instead of let's get consistent, do we start opening the door to where we're all over the place?
Yeah, I 100% agree with, let's have a rule book. If you're a crate late model, this is your rule book. If you're a super late model, this is your rule book.
All right, so Matt, I'm going to spin it back around. If there was one thing you could change about the crate series, what would it be?
That's it.
One rule book.
Yeah. And these guys, with the guys that race at Brownstown, you know, they pay a membership into that. The one thing I would do for our guys, I would have, you know, a meeting at the beginning of the year, open meeting. If you plan on racing with us, come voice your opinion. You know, throw some things out there that you would like to see changed, or an idea. Let the drivers vote on it. You know, that way, you know, I'm not going to sit up here and say, this is what we're doing. If you don't like it, you know, tough. If the majority votes on it, okay, that's going to be it.
And I agree, because
And
then
then
you
maybe
get the driver buy-in.
Midway through the year, another meeting. Okay, we've ran it, you know, from March to July. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? What do you want to do?
I like that. I like that.
Because they
See,
pay a membership in. You know, they're not just showing up and racing for purse money. They're giving money in. I mean, they have a way bigger payout in the points at the end of the year because they pay in, but they're still paying in. So I think they should have to have a voice.
I mean, that's like a lot of tracks in Kentucky. That's why you don't see a lot of them come up here, because the rules are different. They're allowed to run alcohol, and we're not. I mean, that's why they're not allowed to come up here. Their tire rules a little different, but I think a couple weeks ago we opened our tire rule up. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot of stupid rules. Everybody, they just need to be the same.
Yeah, because again, like you just said, as you go farther south, crate racing only grows bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pull, like, some of these shows, if you want to put up a 5,000, 7,500 to win show, you could pull a lot of these guys, but they're not changing everything on their car to come up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can't afford to go out. And I think there's a big race in Kentucky over the weekend. I can't afford to go out and spend $2,000, $2,500 in tires on a chance to make money, and that's going to be the only time I'm going to run that stuff. You know.
Yeah, even if you win it, you broke even on the weekend.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to take that chance to do that, but I don't know.
Let me give you. Okay, turn it to you.
Okay. You know, I agree 100%. The rules, I think, are big. If I'm going to just kind of twist it a little bit and just look at our Indiana Late Model Series, a big thing that I think we need is a couple throwaway races for the drivers.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
And the points. And this is the reason why. It's not about having a bad weekend or this or that. It's about life happens to everybody. And I think we see guys who maybe are racing for the points that are third, fourth, it may be an outside shot, but I'm still within breathing room, that then has a health concern or a wedding or something that they have to miss a race for.
Or they got to work.
Or they got to work and can't travel. Fair enough.
Mold maker right here,
Yeah.
man. These guys work 7 days a week sometimes.
People work these days.
Well, unless you're on that other program.
Yeah.
But,
I know you do, man. You know.
But life happens, and then that person misses that race, and they fall back to 6th, 7th in the points. Well, what that does is, why am I still – now I'm not racing for points anymore. So now I'm going to start bouncing.
Yeah.
So your car count towards the end of the year starts to fall.
Yeah.
Give them a couple races.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
That's basically when I ran for UMP. You know, they only count your top 25, 30
Yeah.
races.
And that's what I don't think that is a
Well, then if you have a bad night, it's not so detrimental. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that one's going to get thrown out.
No.
And we say all the time, and this isn't a disrespect to anybody who's won point championships anyway, the point championship becomes more about consistency and attendance than it becomes about true success.
Yeah.
If you let them throw 2 races out, then it becomes more about what you did.
Yeah.
Well, Summer Nationals this year, aren't they running 36 and they're
Yep.
only keeping score of 30?
Yep.
So they're letting them throw 6 out.
Yeah, so again, rule book, agreed, 100%. But to twist it another way, I think that's an element we have to add in. The only other thing I would say that I miss is I truly miss a fast car dash, you know, a trophy dash, a qualifying dash.
I can't believe you're old enough to remember that stuff.
We just did one at Lawrenceburg Saturday night.
But I'm saying, you know, that was.
But I remember the fast car
when I was a
dashes.
kid, that was every week.
Yeah.
You know, the 4 fastest cars rolled out and raced for a trophy.
And that's why I miss that element of it.
Do you like the hot lap qualifying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like the invert?
Sometimes.
Because the only
That's
reason,
the best. That is the most honest and best answer I think we've ever got.
the only reason I'm asking is there's been some guys in other classes that were now hot lap qualifying.
Yeah.
They want their class to invert, and that's why we've inverted you guys from the get go.
Yeah.
I just was curious.
Yeah.
If you like, and to me, I think when we invert, it makes the racing just a little bit better
Yeah.
in the heat race.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, yeah, it just depends. It just depends how you qualify. You know, sometimes, I mean, it throws in that little, because I mean, you go out there and qualify, you're trying to lay down your best lap. So.
Yeah.
I do have to say, at Lawrenceburg, and this isn't really pertaining to this, but they had a guy come up to the booth right before the modifieds qualified, and he threw a $100 bonus to the slowest qualifying modified. And as I'm sitting there, and I thought, man, if I'm going out late, and I know I'm probably not running up front anyway, I'm putting around this thing to pick up an extra 100 and going on. But I had never seen somebody do that. But to the slowest qualifier, he threw $100 to him.
Well, we had a
Winning
guy
the race.
donate some money. I can't remember what. It was the Hornets got a hard charger award. Harf, the Hoosier Auto Racing
Yep.
fans, donated $100 in a year membership to the hard charger in the Hornet class. Well, the Hornets only win $125. So if you won the hard charger, you won more than the feature winner.
So you needed to start at the back.
If I was a Hornet driver, because Jim's like, hey, make sure you announce that, I would have been in the 6th place. When we transferred 6, I would have finished 6th in the heat race. So I had a chance of getting that hard charger. Because if I won my heat race, I'm starting up front.
Yeah.
Well, even if
I
I started up front in the feature, as soon as the green falls, I'm pulling over and stopping on the track to go to the rear.
That don't count.
No.
Well, that
You can pass them all you want.
I
but
charged backwards
it's-
and came forward.
It's where you start at, brother. But I would have kind of timed my heat race out on that one. I would have thought that one through. I can tell you're married to a math teacher.
Why?
You was subtracting and adding.
Yeah, I can multiply, divide. I can do it all. I can do it all. I'd have passed them once, went back, passed them again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Then when they said,
It
hey,
should
this
count
guy
if you lap 'em,
passed
too.
10 cars, he's like, well, I passed 20.
should count if you lap them too, and come back around. So Tyler, looking ahead, here towards the end of the year too, what are you excited about? Some events coming up that you're planning to be a part of? I know you talked about a couple there at Vernon. What's some things you're looking forward to?
I don't know. I just really like, we kind of got in a rhythm here. We was kind of getting I like racing twice a week, getting a rhythm. You get more racing in. I feel like you run better. I don't know. There's 2 big shows coming up at Vernon. I'm really excited about. Fairs race coming up at Brownstown. That's always a big race. Got plenty of sponsors come to that, friends and family. It's starting to wind down a little bit. We're at the halfway point. I feel like.
I think the fair race has a whole different vibe when you're there. I don't know if it's all the noise outside and.
Well, I think
But
you
you
also
just
draw
feel
in people
different.
that are never usually at the track.
Yeah, but it's just a whole different feeling the night of the fair races.
Yeah.
So I want to say this before we get into you giving your sponsors a shout out, because you got some great ones on the car. I have to say, hands down, one of the best looking cars out there. The yellow.
That surprised me. The yellow.
The
did, man.
yellow that you went with, I think's a home run.
Yeah, I had to change it up. Dad, that last year. Dad, he picked the black and blue. I was wanting to go black and yellow last year, but but I tried to go back to the street stock days to reminisce some of that. Try to get some of that good luck back when we had the black and yellow back then. But yeah, I like it. It sticks out. But
Yeah, I will say when I was looking for some photos and some video stuff to get ready for this, it made it really easy. I could
Yeah.
find you quickly.
Yeah.
So it was great. So, but we're at 50 minutes in here. I want to give you that chance to kind of shout out those sponsors. Like I said, you got a lot on the car and those people that help you get to the track.
yeah, I gotta thank my beautiful wife. She puts up with a lot. sometimes she, well, a lot of times she says, yeah, all you care about that damn race car, but I care about you too, babe. Gotta thank my wife, my 2 kids, Oakland, Harper, my dad. He's the one guy that is always there to support me when it's good, bad, ugly, and he's there. One of my best friends. So gotta thank my dad, Mike Fields. He's there in the shop every week. He does a lot for me. Jeff Walters, he ran my carburetor down to Willie's today to get that thing tuned in. So I gotta thank him. My mom, she does a lot for me. My 2 sisters are kind of my PR people, to get on my sponsors. Got a lot of good sponsors on the car. I gotta thank Kelly Rourke with Rourke Excavating, Gurker Building Supply, Cain Hereford Sales, Dick and Rudy's Barbershop, Beach Heating and Cooling, Pewter Hall, Curtis and Darla, great people. I gotta thank Lehman Insurance, Bryant Lehman and Deanna Matter. They came on board this year. They're new. We're so happy to have them. Trying to think. I know I'm missing somebody.
We need that car. Last time you were able to look at the car.
Your nose piece. You ain't said them yet. Who's on your nose?
Let's Lehman.
Okay.
Clean Right, Adam Hall. Trying to think. I think that's it.
Bring that picture back up. It was on there.
Oh yeah, good. There, that'll help. Great call. Look at you.
Main Trailer Sales. I forgot them. Celery Signs, Dairy Queen.
Yeah, don't forget Celery Signs.
Yeah.
He'll be texting.
Yeah. There's Dasco Race Supply. They've been pretty good to me. Yeah.
Nobody got to see last year, but we were standing next to the 2-seater that Brownstown Speedway owns. And Tyler actually turned and looked at that car to remember the sponsors on his car. Though that was pretty cool. There.
It worked. It was perfect.
He'd like look at the nose and like he'd rattle off his nose sponsor. Then down the side he went.
And if you know how many times I've told drivers that story, not as a joke, but like when I know they're stuck, I'm like, think about looking at your car.
Yeah.
Think about going through your car. And so it definitely works. And well, Tyler, I want to say this, man, because we're right here at an hour, and I just want to tell you, first of all, love seeing you back more this year, and glad to have you back. To everybody watching, I'm telling you, I'll be the cocky one for you. It's only a matter of time before that thing's back in victory lane, and I see it coming, and so let's not disrespect anybody else. There's a lot of really good cars in that.
Yeah.
Indiana Pro Late Model field, but you know how to get one around there pretty darn good.
I sure hope so. I'm not one of them shoulda, coulda, woulda guys, but I'm kind of keep to myself. Kind of, if it happens, it happens. So hope it happens soon.
All right, and looking ahead, we've got weekly racing this weekend at Brownstown Speedway. We are 2 weeks away, a week and a half, I guess I should say, away from July 17th, which will be the makeup of the Bobby Wilson Memorial. So excited about that race, and so some exciting things to look up. Be on the lookout. We are going to start going back weekly with these. Not official yet, but I'm pretty certain next week our guest is going to be Scott Traylor. For those who don't know, Scott Traylor is the owner of Racing Boys. Racing Boys has done the Chili Bowl for years and years and years, broadcasts all over the country. Chasing those beautiful sprint cars. So we're going to get a chance.
There's such a thing.
So we're going to get a chance.
He's excited
to talk to talk to Scott Traylor and hear what's going on with racing.
I'll feel like a stepchild next week.
You will. You 100% will.
Are you invited?
I might not be.
It might just be me and Scott. And that may be the only people that watch as well, but we'll have a good conversation. But no, so we will be back weekly. So again, join us next week. And, Tyler, like I said, man, good luck. And thanks for always supporting us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.